going on? How y'all doing? This is Dwayne Ross, and I really appreciate you for coming to my blog, DWayneRoss.com. And I got some information to share with you. I was recently invited to the Charles County Literacy Initiative, which is called Charles County Saves. And this was the workshop that I actually presented. I asked people two questions. I said, hey, what do you currently do regarding your finances, and why do you do it that way? And the main two objectives that they wanted me to talk about was debt elimination, because I had went through the process of eliminating debt with the IRS. And then the second thing was, can we have a budget? Now, I don't believe totally in budgets, so I told them, hey, I will teach it, but I'm going to teach it from my perspective, a spending plan. So what do you do, and how do you do it? Why do you do it the way that you do? You know, who's impacted you on making those decisions that you made? So, who am I? I am the author of the book, No More Crumbs from the Table. This was my first book back in 2004 that I started using to, I was doing a workshop for people who were long-term unemployed, long-term welfare. And people kept saying, do you have a book? Do you have a book? And I actually didn't have a book. So I said, well, let me take this stuff that I had in the workshop and I'll turn it into a class. I turned it into a book. And so I took the outline from the class and turned it into a book. But if you want to do the class, I can come to your environment and do the class. Then Charles County Saves Initiative, they actually reached out to me because of the fact that I had this issue with the IRS that I was able to overcome, and they thought this would be very good for people to hear, and so I was invited to do that, and so I explained that. And I go into the whole debt elimination issue, okay? And then today's special, you know, we talk about budgeting made simple, but I talk to you about a spending plan. I will give you that free. If all you got to do is go to my website, DwayneRoss.com, DWayneRoss.com, or where you are right now, and just ask for it, and I will give it to you, okay? And it's a really cool piece of fresh paperwork that will show you how to align yourself and align your finances, okay? Because there's systems. Systems work when people don't. And you need a system to take care of business. What happened with me with the IRS is I didn't have a system. I didn't have a system in place for my investment. I didn't have a system in place for how I was spending my money. I didn't have a system in place for my expenses. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Because see, you have financial systems, you have the banking system, you have a spending system, and a cash flow system. Most people have a problem with their cash flow, not so much with the actual money that they have. So we're going to talk about money. You know, the question is, where's your wealth? I asked in the workshop, okay, where is your money? Money is an idea. So if you have a lot of ideas, you can have money. If you have no ideas, you can borrow somebody's idea and still make money. Warren Buffett does it, right? Okay? The thought of the diligent makes rich. So you can have your salary, and that's it, where you go around, and all you do is collect your paycheck from paycheck to paycheck, week to week, month to month, year to year, day to day. That's what I was doing at one time. Then I went into business, and I had a really bad experience with going into business. I went bankrupt. I lost everything. I was homeless. And I thought that meant I made a mistake, and I was wrong. I didn't realize I was in pretty good company, because if anybody know the guy named Walt Disney, he actually went bankrupt more than that. I believe it's 5 or 7 times, okay? But I didn't realize that, and I was upside down and crying and whining and all that kind of stuff. So I went back into the workforce, and I stayed in that until I was, again, hit in the head with information about creating wealth. And so now I know about creating wealth, and I'm getting back on track. And I invite you to do the same. And if you never did it, I want to ask you, are you doing the same thing that you did when you first started working? Your first 2 or 3 years of work, are you doing the same thing now? And you're like 45, 30 years. They retired on Friday. Plus, they were back on Monday because they didn't have enough to retire. But they're working now, not in the same position, but they said they needed to make some money. Okay? And that's because they had debt. They probably, you know, owe and things of that nature, but they didn't also see how they could use their money to help them make more money. Their own current money and how they could make more money. Or they didn't have enough investments, then now they're looking at their retirement and they're going, how in the world am I living on 50% of what I was just making last month? This is not going to work. You need a better plan. All right? I talk about good debt and bad debt in the class, okay? When do people know what to do? Because if they know what to do, they can do something better. But when they don't know what to do, they do nothing. They sit around and they wait. They talk to their friends. They talk to their other broke friends, broke people around them, poor people around them. They don't go out and seek out the knowledge. It's very rare. They'll talk about it. They'll talk about the problems, but they don't get a plan and put something in place. I want you to have a plan and something in place by the end of our conversation. Okay, I'm going to share some books with you and some impact that changed my life as well, and that's now changing my life because now I'm taking that information and making it available to other people as well. Okay, if somebody has a mortgage, do you pay on time? Is that how you should do it? Because if you pay it on time, 30 years from now, that same house, which was 100 and something when you bought it, let's say 100,000, you paid 360,000 for it. What happened to the other $260,000? That's your retirement. That's your money, because if you had to put that in an annuitized annuity or something of that nature, it gained 10 to 20% interest, and then it compounded every 7 years. You probably have $1.something million by now. But we're not taught that. We're not taught that in school. We're not taught to do that. Okay? My tax debt story is this. I owe the IRS because they did a reevaluation of my business taxes. Okay? I was in business doing training and development and that kind of stuff. And I was doing pretty well, but I had somebody doing my taxes. And then one day, that person moved to Arizona, and I couldn't find somebody fast enough during the tax season. So I said, well, it can't be that bad. Let me go ahead and do my own taxes. So I did it on that, it's a little CD they send you to your house, and you do it. I don't want to call the name of it because, you'll know it, but it's a tax CD that they give you free, and they say, hey, do your own taxes. So I did my own taxes, and then I got an audit. And I got audited for 5 years. And then not only did I get an audit for 5 years, I didn't have all the stuff together to show them that I was doing this stuff. Okay? I had no receipts. I had receipts all over the place. I had the box of receipts or the bag of receipts or the junk over here, junk over there, junk over there. Nothing organized. Well, now I have an organized plan for you. I'd love to share that with you because that's the key issue for doing work with the IRS and making sure it works. Okay? Debt elimination also. Understanding that you can eliminate the debt with the same money you currently make. You can make a little extra money to pay off that debt, but if you do it a certain way, you can snowball the effect to the point that you're totally out of debt. I want to share that information with you in my next workshop, so I'm just going to kind of highlight it today. But if you want more information on that, please send me a message. Message me, inbox me, whatever you need to do so we can get that to you, okay? I want to invite you to go to www.CashFlow2Freedom.com to learn more about that. Just watch video 1 because you'll find out about other people who are actually having that challenge as well. And then I'm going to give you a free invitation at the end of the story where you can come out March 8th in the Clinton, Maryland area so you can learn firsthand exactly what to do. Okay? But anyway, everything you know about debt, you probably learned from people who are poor or people who are in debt. You probably didn't learn it from a CPA. I actually had a CPA 3 years ago and thought that if I had a CPA, everything would be fine. We started with that, but we wound up learning that a tax consultant was better for us because of the way that we were doing our taxes. But that tax consultant never showed us what I can show you now, how to get a raise on my check in a week. Okay? How to go from a W-2 employee to actually going to a business owner. Now, we own a business salon. We have a salon, and I actually work for a regular job, but I also have an online business, and this is my business. I do workshops for free, community development workshops. And I learned that that's tax deductible if I do it right. I didn't know how to do that before. So now I do, and I want to teach it to you, okay? Now, I said earlier, people don't have a cash problem. They don't have a money problem. They have a cash flow problem. They don't know how to take their cash and have it go in and out the right way. They just have their money come in and go out. They get their paycheck on Friday, by Monday it's spent. Friday, Monday it's spent. They don't have a savings, they don't have a plan, they don't have a spending plan, a savings plan, they don't have any of those different things. Okay? What we want to teach you is how to get your money, pay the IRS and everybody else less, and take the money that you paid that you would have been, giving to them, give it to yourself or put it in an investment, and at the end of the day, you now have your money working for you for passive residual income. Passive income. You can make residual income where you do the work once, and then it keeps paying you over and over and over as you go. All right? This book creates residual income. Now, I don't have a lot of income from the book, but I get speaking engagements from the book. So that's the cool thing. It's not a #1 bestseller, but I am moving toward getting a #1 bestseller. I just met a young lady who's a coach. Her actual name is Melanie Bonita. She is a #1 bestseller author on Amazon.com, and I just met her last Saturday, and she decided, hey, you know what, Mr. Ross? You need your book to be #1 because your story is an amazing story. So I said, hey, you show me that, and anything I could do for you, we can work together. So we got a little plan going. Well, anyway, profit and loss. You are the CEO of your life, so therefore you should have a CEO plan, profit and loss statement, not just a budget, not just, this is how much we make and this is how much we spend. I can't believe it, okay? When you build yourself on a budget or you build your life on a spending plan, you now have better opportunities to do more with your money. Now, the IRS said, hey, you know what, we need to see your receipts, we need to see your plan, what you did, what da 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 da. You asked for all these deductions, but we don't see no proof. I had no proof. It was 5-year-old information that I got on a 6-year, and so here it was, I'm trying to figure it out, and in that time, I did some other things in life, and life, you know, had experienced some different things. So as far as where all that paper was and all that was, I had nowhere it was stored. I couldn't present it. And so they said, well, if you can't present it, we're sorry, it's disallowed. And I had one debt on there that was $3,000 something that had already had interest on it. I think it was 2003. Though over the years, the interest had brought it up to $9,000. I had another one that was 5 something, 7 something, and you can kind of keep counting because it was a lot. I'll just say it was a lot. And I had no idea what I was going to do. But I met a gentleman who was building houses. He was flipping houses. And this was about 2008. And he said to me, he said, you know, what you got to do is realign yourself. You got to start doing something different than what you've been doing. And at the time, I was like, yeah, I know, but I got these bills. I got to pay these bills. I got these bills. And people calling me about these bills. And then I got child support. And I got child support. And I got bills and child support. I got people, okay, coming to get me for my stuff. And I was like, I don't know what to do, but I know how to go to work. And I know how to pay my bills. So let me do that. Okay? But in reality, I was still learning about what I needed to do to change and shift my focus. And that's when I started writing another part of my book, which is coming up. It's called No More Crumbs from the Table, Shift Your Focus. Okay? And in shifting my focus, it tells you how to shift from a W-2 employee to somebody that's doing a little bit better. I took some of the principles that I learned in these books. Monopoly System. This is by William B. Thompson. Awesome book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The system's in there. I mean, I got yellow everywhere in this book because he teaches you some stuff that you just really need to learn. The power of focus. How to stay on point with the things that you're trying to do. Have a focus plan. I have this little plan on my wall that I use now, and it's because of this book, The Power of Focus. That was Jack Canfield. And then Laurel Langmeyer. If you don't know any ideas or know how to make money, she talks about how to not restrain your life, but expand your life. And I like that idea. I don't want to restrain myself. I want to expand. I want to help make people's lives better. You know, like today, it's snow all over the place, and I bet some guy who's saying, I don't have a job, I don't have any money, is sitting at home watching Google Live or watching TV somewhere, you know, Gunsmoke reruns or whatever, you know, Adam 12 or whatever, instead of going out there and getting him a shovel and getting a couple friends and say, look, let's shovel a couple of shovels, some snow, shovel it, make a couple $100, then we'll take that $100 and we're going out and we're going to buy us one of the machines, and now we'll take the machine out and we can do more houses. Because that heavy snow, man, it had ice in it, it had water in it, that's some heavy stuff. People having heart attacks trying to move that stuff. Okay? So he could go out there and be a solution-oriented person, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, you got to be able to restrain and expand one or the other. A lot of people teach restrain. Okay, cut up all your credit cards, don't go out and eat, don't get no deodorant, you know, wash your own clothes, don't go to the cleaners, which, you know, you can do some of that stuff, but all of it's kind of spooky to me, all right? Because then you can't live like you're trying to live. I want to stay at the same lifestyle, but then have my money work better, okay? So can I expand? I expand by doing these workshops. Now, the workshop may be free to the society, but it's an expense to me. My time is expensive, the planning is expensive, putting this stuff together is time, effort, and money, right? But the IRS allows me to write that stuff off. So even though I have income, I can write those things off. Restrain or expand, that's what you gotta do. You're tracking your expenses. So I didn't have a way to track my expenses, so I needed to have something that I could have simple, easy, at my fingertips, that I can use on my smartphone, that all I gotta do is push a button and my information is right there. So I wanna encourage you to do something like that. That's what happened. The IRS said, hey, you know what, Mr. Ross, we really wanna help you, but we need something to show what you were doing. And I had nothing. I really didn't. I had a bunch of junk here and there, but nothing solid. Before we started, I asked you, what do you do? What is it that you do and why are you doing it that way? Okay? Because what I realized is that you might need another method. Maybe if I showed you a different method that could actually bring money in your pocket and help you retire the way that you really want to live, things would be better. Would that be of an interest to you? Because if it is, just keep listening, all right? Because see, here's what happens that most people don't understand. We have what's called the monopoly system, right? And that's, again, from this book, The Monopoly System, William B. Thompson. This very interesting book. He talks about this in Purchase Power. You know, if you're investing in yourself, then you're really investing in your future, okay? He talked about what happens when you have your paycheck. Okay, a lot of people use their paychecks one way, but a formal education will make you a living, but an informal education will make you a fortune. I just heard that again from another guy, Mr. Bob Yates. He said the exact same thing. So this is nothing new. It's nothing new. It's not original. Okay, but it's a different way of packaging the thought. Okay, Bob Yates said the same thing at the Circle of Champions last week. He said like this. He said, you need to understand what you're connected to. Your salary. Understand what's on the inside seat. You take some of your salary and then go out and do something. Go buy you a camera. All right? I bought this little bloggy camera. It's simple. Sony bloggy camera. It's what's going on right now. This is what I'm using to make this video. I didn't go out and spend no $1 million money for no camera. I just did this little bloggy. It has a 1080p selection on there, and then it has other selections, okay? But what that's going to do is put this video out there, so who knows, you might buy my book, or if I